We begin tonight with breaking news we have been covering since before daybreak. A charter bus carrying band members from a high school outside Houston, Texas, crashed along I-10 just past the Wilcox exit in Baldwin County. The driver of that bus died in the crash. 3 students remain critically injured. 4 suffered serious injuries, all of whom have been taken to a number of area hospitals in Mobile, Baldwin, and Pensacola, Florida. 40 students were on board the charter bus when it went out of control and crashed down 50 feet to the bottom of the ravine. We want you to take a look at this video from early this morning, recorded by Jesus Tejeda. He gave NBC 15 News permission to use this video. He took it as he came upon the scene. By the time he got there, he tells us there were helicopters airlifting victims from the crash site, and everyone he saw was alive. He went on to say right before he left the scene, he overheard first responders asking for cutters. Now, I-10 was closed to traffic in both directions for several hours as crews collected evidence and worked to clear the wreckage. NBC 15's James Gordon is live tonight. James, how is the traffic through the area now?
Well, those east and westbound lanes on I-10 are now open. Of course, it wasn't that way most of the day. They pretty much opened up the westbound lanes at 3:30 this afternoon. Now, the most amazing thing about this crash is that so many people survived. Some, of course, are in critical condition tonight, but everyone, including the rescuers, are breathing a sigh of relief. You know, the outcome here could have been much worse. There's no doubt the 50-foot drop down this ravine off I-10 was horrifying for everyone on board. Rescuers in both Florida and Alabama came prepared, ready to save lives.
The bus came to rest on one side down in the ravine. Those had to either be brought up by ropes and repelling individuals from the fire department during the rescue operation. Some were carried out by deputies and other law enforcement.
Hundreds of vehicles were rerouted this morning.
Hit dead stop on the highway, and I mean, I sat there for about an hour just because there were so many emergency vehicles coming up each shoulder. I couldn't even turn around.
It appears that after losing control, the bus slid down the embankment on its side. The students inside the bus, most likely startled, some were probably sleeping. State troopers will investigate the bus's condition and any faulty mechanics. They will also look at the driver's disposition right before the crash. Perhaps the bus driver fell asleep, things like that, or those are some of the things you look at as well?
We look at that because we don't know at this point. And yes, we don't rule anything out.
Now, the investigation into how this happened will also include the National Transportation Safety Board. Also, it appears that the victims and their families could use gift cards and gas cards to get back to Texas. We're told that those cards can be dropped off at Coastal Church in Daphne. That church is located on County Road 64 in Daphne. Now we're live in Baldwin County. James Gordon, NBC 15 News.
James, thank you. We now know the name of the driver in that bus crash. First Class Tours confirms Harry Callagone died when the bus crashed. The company says Callagone was a longtime driver for the company, and they are deeply saddened by his loss.
Victims of the crash were rushed by ambulance and by helicopter to several area hospitals. Sacred Heart Hospital in Pensacola received 20 patients from the crash. 5 of them were admitted with serious injuries. The other 15 have since been released. In Mobile, 1 person was flown to USA Medical Center shortly after the accident. That student is listed tonight in stable condition, according to a hospital spokesperson. Now, as you can imagine, this accident has rocked the city of Channelview, Texas. That's a city located about 20 miles east of Houston.
Zach Hendrick talked with nervous parents who were awakened with the news early this morning.
I mean, my child was in that bus.
Parents of Channelview High School band students received disorienting phone calls early this morning.
Dwayne didn't even know that the bus had veered and went that far, and he was actually on it.
Around 5:30, a charter bus crashed into a ravine on I-10. The bus was carrying 40 students and 6 adults from the Channelview High School band. The group was returning home from a trip to Disney World. Alabama state troopers say the driver of the bus was killed and dozens of students were injured.
Once I saw the pictures, it made it really hit home. You know, it kind of settles in on you. And I mean, I know that my child was in that vehicle.
Band parents like Francis Dodson Benson say it's not the first time the band has taken this trip, but the accident this morning has left her with many unanswered questions.
Just what went on, what caused the accident, what triggered it? I mean, was the bus driver, was he overly tired? Was he using a phone? Hopefully not.
The crash motivated other Channelview parents to come out to the high school campus to try and help.
Oh, I was emotional right away, crying, because we have close ties with Mr. Allison and the band members, so we were really worried about them.
The Channelview superintendent says they've been overwhelmed by all the support that's been shown and the help they've received. Now the focus shifts to getting the dozens of students who were taken to Alabama and Florida hospitals back home.
Right now, we're working with the airlines to possibly get some of the airline carriers to bring the students back.
Around 1:30 this afternoon, a second charter bus carrying students from the trip arrived in Channelview escorted by state troopers. School administrators say it appears all the students and staff involved in the accident are going to be okay.
We have a lot of parents that are already en route to pick up their children.
Reporting from Channelview, I'm Zach Hedrick.
In Baldwin County, a local church opened its doors to the students who were on that bus and were either uninjured or released from the hospital.
NBC 15's Andrea Ramey continues our team coverage tonight at Coastal Church in Daphne. Andrea?
Well, Greg and Kim, just within the last hour or so, families began arriving here to pick up their kids. About half a dozen families, I'm told. At least one child was checked out of the church here. Families today having to make a grueling 8-hour drive just to reunite with their kids. County buses shuttled students involved in this morning's deadly bus crash from the hospital to Coastal Church in Daphne as they waited to reunite with parents. The outpouring of support from the community was immediate. People came by to offer prayers. Restaurants donated food. The Red Cross responded with meals and emotional support dogs, a welcome distraction for kids involved in a traumatic crash down a 50-foot ravine.
We just want to love on these kids. And so, and whatever way they need, if they need to be left alone to chill out, or if we need to be running some movies for them to watch, or we've got an arcade, so, and get in there and play video games for all we care about. But all 24.87 acres of our land is theirs for however long they need it.
And they mean that. The pastor here says that as long as students and families need a place to stay, their doors will be open tonight. Reporting live in Daphne, Andrea Ramey, NBC 15 News.
Andrea, thanks. The Baldwin County Sheriff's Office set up a call center for family members who still may be looking to connect with loved ones who were aboard that bus. That number is there on your screen, 251-972-6807.
The Channelview Independent School District released a statement saying, at this time, we have been able to confirm 40 students and 6 adults from Channelview were on the bus at the time of the accident. We are aware of numerous injuries. The governor of Texas took to social media saying, Cecilia and I are heartbroken by the news of this tragic accident, and we offer our prayers to all these young Texans and their families.
He went on to say, I pray for a speedy recovery for all those injured. I am especially grateful for the heroic actions of the Alabama first responders that undoubtedly helped save lives today. The second bus in that caravan, as you saw, not involved in the crash, arrived safely back to Texas this afternoon. The bus pulled into Channelview High School away from reporters, escorted by police. Those students were greeted by family members and school personnel.
A new video just in. This is exclusive aerial footage of the wrecked bus being pulled from the ravine this afternoon. That bus and the damage done to it will be key evidence as federal investigators try to piece together what caused that deadly crash on Interstate 10 this morning. The National Traffic Safety Board says it has sent a team to our area to assist in this investigation. The NTSB is involved in all major crash investigations.
NBC 15 News digging deeper into the details of today's tragedy as state troopers and NTSB officials start to piece together what exactly happened.
NBC 15's Nicole Fierro searched into the safety records of the bus company carrying these high school band students. Nicole, what did you find out?
Greg and Kim, the Houston-based bus company First Class Tours has a satisfactory rating, but this isn't the first fatal crash the company's been involved in just in the last 2 years.
A trip home from the most magical place in the world turns deadly. 40 Channelview, Texas high school students plummet 50 feet into a ravine off Interstate 10. Baldwin County authorities say this crash ended the life of the driver behind the wheel of a first-class tour bus.
Anytime there's a loss of life, you're particularly trying to speak for those who can't speak.
Alabama state troopers are working alongside 6 National Transportation Safety Board officials investigating what caused this travesty. The bus company First Class Tours took to social media, posting on their Facebook page, "We pledge our assistance in cooperating with local authorities in the investigation." We investigated the safety history of the Houston-based bus company. A search of the Department of Transportation Safety and Fitness electronic records, SAFER, shows today's fatality isn't the first. In the last 2 years, Safety has reported 4 additional crashes, another one of those deadly. We searched the archives and found that other deadly accident happened May 9th in Houston. This video shows the scene where Houston police reported a 73-year-old woman was struck and killed by a first-class tour bus. She was walking in a downtown crosswalk on her way to a medical clinic. It's not clear whether anyone was charged. The other 3 crashes just show that buses were damaged, towed, but no injuries were reported.
SAFER records also indicate the company has 94 total drivers, and they've had 255 inspections in the last 2 years. Greg and Kim.